I'm legally insane. And when I'm not busy attempting to blow my balls off after completing 13 Sentinels Aegis Rim, one of the best Nintendo Switch games ever made, one of the best RPGs ever made, and one of the best storylines ever made of any game. Day 1 edition too, by the way, came with these cards, special cards. If you don't have the Day 1 edition, do you really have 13 Sentinels Aegis Rim? You better get yourself the Day 1 edition, buddy. I wouldn't want to own anything but that. In fact, if you don't own the Day 1 edition, you should blow your balls off right now, just for the sake of it. But when I'm not busy doing that, I'm purchasing Nintendo Switch games to add to my Nintendo Switch collection. I have a very large collection. I have gone hardcore down the rabbit hole of the Nintendo Switch, and I never thought I would. This all started back in, I think it was 2020. I did not think I was going to go down that rabbit hole, but they kept releasing so many dang good games I couldn't resist. I finally bought myself a Nintendo Switch. I got the Super Mario Edition, the red and blue Nintendo Switch Special Edition, and I got it Day 1 too, buddy, and it sold out fast. I went to Walmart Day 1 on my lunch break. I was the first one in there because I take my lunches early because I'm allowed free reign when I can take my lunch. Well, sometimes I like to go at 9:30 in the morning. So that's what I did, and I was the first one in line, and they had 12 in stock, and I went back like a couple days later. All of them were gone. Every single one. So right here are 4 Nintendo Switch games, and there's a 5th one over there. Some of these games are pretty dang good. Some of these games are bad, and some of these games are downright ugly. I want to tell you what I got, why I got each of these games, and why you might also be interested in some of these games, even the bad games, because even the bad games can still be fun games. I like bad games. I got no problem with bad games. I think bad games are especially fun to play with a friend. You come over, your friend comes over, you pass the controller back and forth, or it's better if it's 2-player, but you pass the controller back and forth, or you make your friend play the game because it's funny. You're torturing him, but he doesn't know that you're doing this to torture him for your own personal amusement. I think it's hilarious. So let's get started. All of these games are recent pickups. We're going to start with the good, we're going to get into the bad, and then end with the ugly. So starting with the first good game, we've got Radiant Silver Gun. This is a shoot 'em up, otherwise called a shooter. Old school terminology, we used to call these shooters back in the day. First person shooters didn't exist back then. So this is a shoot 'em up developed by the world famous Japanese game studio Treasure. See if the camera can pick that up. Published by Limited Run Games, but Treasure was the OG developer. And they are most famous for creating Gunstar Heroes for the Sega Genesis. One of the best games on the entire Sega Genesis console. Probably one of the more famous games on top of that. And when people think Treasure, that's the most well-known game. They have a huge resume of games. All of them good. I don't think they've ever made a bad game. It's not possible with this studio. Kind of like Vanillaware. Those guys, it's not possible for them to make a bad game. They can't do it. It's impossible. So this shooter right here, many will tell you is the best shoot 'em up ever made in history. And if it doesn't make your number 1, it would probably be in the top 3. And if it doesn't make the top 3, I guarantee you it's in the top 5. For like anyone who's hardcore shooter fan. That's how popular and how well developed this game was. And what makes this game special is it's basically an RPG shoot 'em up. So they try to do unique things that had never been done before. So the history on this game, why this game was even made, Sega came and approached Treasure. Sega came begging them, repeatedly asking them, basically begging them, okay, because, you know, they had a good history together. They know Treasure makes good games. Gunstar Heroes, system seller. Game was a system seller back in the day. So Sega approaches this company, Treasure. This game originally came out in 1998, so this was way back in the day. They approached them, begging them to make an arcade game. So Treasure finally caved in and said, okay, we'll make an arcade game. And they wanted to go beyond that and said, okay, well, let's make an arcade game that we can port over to console and make even more money. So in the back of their mind, they always had a console port ready to go. They knew, okay, let's make something that's easily portable, right? You're not going to make something that can't be ported. And they ported it to the Sega Saturn. So when they were trying to come up with something unique, because they're one of the best game developers in the world, they decided, let's add in these RPG elements. So for example, you basically level up your weapons. If you've played Secret of Mana or some other games, for example, the more you use your weapon, that weapon will level up and become stronger. Same idea in this game. The more you use specific weapons, those weapons will get stronger. And that can also fit to your playstyle. If you like a particular type of weapon, then you can make sure you use that one and kill as many enemies as possible. Rack up your score, which is basically your experience points. Is basically an RPG. So not only do we have an RPG-related weapons system, but they also had a good story to go with the shoot 'em up. And how many shoot 'em ups had a good story? Ever, since the beginning of time? Let's see, none? You tell me a shooter that actually has as much detail as this game in the story itself. We're talking about a shoot 'em up here. Okay, this is a shoot 'em up. Well, this is not a freaking RPG. This is not Final Fantasy Tactics. This isn't Final Fantasy VII. This is a shoot 'em up. So in the story, they have a lot of anime style cutscenes and a lot of dialogue. They were trying to tell as good of story as possible, considering it is a shoot 'em up, right? You're going to get a certain level of quality with this genre. You don't have 100 hours to tell a story. So the other reason I got this, because, guys, I'm not a shooter guy. I forgot if I mentioned that. I don't really play shooters, but I like shooters, and I dabble in them. I like to play them every now and then. I wish I was better at them. I wish I enjoyed them more than I do, and probably I would if I was better at them, right? The guys that are really hardcore into shooters, they're actually good at shooters. Why else would they be playing them? So I'm not very good. So I like shooters that have an easy mode. And this game does have different difficulties that you can select. But mind you, even the easy mode is still hard. Okay? Even the easy mode is still hard. But it's beatable. Somebody like me, with practice, I could beat this game on easy mode. With practice. And the other great thing, I mean, this is two-player, guys. Any two-player game is automatically a good game. I'll purchase just about any shoot 'em up if it's two-player. So this right here would make a great co-op game to play with a buddy. Sink a couple hours into it one day and try to beat the game. And probably you're not going to beat it first time around. It's like Contra. Nobody beats Contra first time around unless you're using a Game Genie or the 30 live cheat code. Even then, you probably lose. First time, you're not going to beat it first time with 30 lives. You still need to practice. I don't care who you are. There's no way you beat Contra your first time playing, even with the cheat code. I don't believe you. I will not believe you. It's impossible. Great game. Definitely recommending it.
西暦2520年7月14日この日世界は消滅した我々はいやおうなしに地上へ降りなければならなくなっていた
As a matter of fact, as you can see, this is still sealed. I'm going to open it live. Like I just got this in the mail like 2 days ago, I think. Opening it live. I've got a pen here. See if I can poke a hole in it without getting ink on it. Not sure if I was successful there or not. Now, I'm opening it live because I want to see if it has a manual. Because you'd think that a very expensive game and a very unique game like this, and a game developed by Treasure, would get the Treasure treatment. And lo and behold, it does have a manual. Now, what I like is when they tell you the controls in the manual, the buttons. Some tips in there, looks like, strategy. Oh, wow, yeah, okay, so they're giving you some tips. They give you an introduction to the story. Gist of it is the human race has been destroyed by some sort of crystal. Human race was annihilated by the light emitted by the stone-like object excavated from the stratum. Wow. Only 4 crew members belonging to the space cruiser Tetra and 1 robonoid survived the satellite orbit. Controls here. It's pretty neat. And technique, how to use the radiant sword. So they're trying to teach you, because the sword can block projectiles. Invincible for a short period of time when using Hypersword. So I did get one other good game. This is the second good game. Triangle frickin' Strategy, Square Enix game. Very tough to find a brand new copy for retail price. Just about impossible, in fact. I've checked Amazon, sold out. All the video game websites that I go to, like online stores, sold out. Everywhere, sold out. You cannot get this. Amazon.ca shipping to Canada, sold out. At least when I checked. And we're talking about the North American ESRB version. I don't want the PAL version, the UK version, European version. I don't want that version. I want the North American version. And I had to get this on Amazon.com, American Amazon. And when I found this, and maybe somebody's uploaded some new copies, you know, sometimes Amazon sells out and a new seller comes in and they upload some more copies. But I kid you not, this was the last brand new copy available. The very last one. I had to pay a fortune for it because they charge a lot of money to ship to Canada. I think it was $54.99 US dollars plus like 16, 17 bucks USD to ship to Canada. And the reason I did that is because I had some money in my Amazon US account, because Amazon had paid me some money from my website that I used to run, and I accidentally uploaded, they paid me via a gift card, and I accidentally uploaded the gift card to my .com account, not my Canadian account. So essentially I used my American gift card, Amazon gift card, to purchase this. Brand freaking new, and you know, not bad considering I was having a tough time getting a brand new copy, or even a reasonably priced used copy. I found one on eBay, and I waited a day. I thought, oh, you know, I'll sleep on it a day or two, and next thing you know, sold, gone. This is becoming a little bit of a rare game. This might be a highly sought after game in the future. I don't know how many copies they printed. It obviously sold well, but the demand, I think the demand for this is only going to go up. I think people are going to look back on this as one of the all-time greats in the future. That's what's going to happen with this one. So Triangle Strategy is a turn-based tactical strategy RPG in the same manner as Final Fantasy Tactics. I doubt it's as good as Final Fantasy Tactics, because in my opinion that is the best turn-based tactical strategy RPG ever made. Had great music. The story was quite complicated, though. That was both a positive and a negative, depending on how you look at that. I look back at it with fond memories now, but at the time, I was confused by the story. Me and a friend were confused, and we would help each other out. Like, okay, what part are you at? What did you think of this? What do you think's happening here? So visually, this game mimics the same style as Octopath Traveler. Beautiful 16-bit style graphics. They're still 2D, but they're made to look as if they are 3D. So what I'll tell you about this game. So when this game first came out, I wasn't all that interested until I saw a very specific trailer, which I will show up, the same trailer. And you know what it was that got me? The story sounds okay. It's a very political story, often compared to Fire Emblem. It's compared to Fire Emblem in both its massive, very sometimes complex political story, but also in the combat. The combat is very similar. But what got me to be interested in this game was that trailer that I saw, the music. That's what finally did me. And I saw a couple of trailers and I thought, you know what? I might pass on this game. I think I'm going to pass. It looks awesome, but I don't want to pay the money. It just wasn't doing it for me. And then this one particular trailer came up and I said, okay, now I know they put some effort into the music. You got to have good music. Nobuo Uematsu is not the composer of this game. So I kind of instantly write off any Final Fantasy game that doesn't have Nobuo composing the music. So I said, forget it. That it probably sucks. The music probably sucks. But I heard the one tune and I finally said, okay, I'm in. I want the game. And it's been pending, waiting for me to purchase it ever since.
Serenoa. It's always like this. Nothing ever goes as I would wish it. The course of my life has always been at the mercy of others. What could there possibly be in this world worth risking life and limb for?
As long as I keep walking, there will always be hope.
This battle is but the first step on the path Lord Serenoa has laid before us. Let us take this first step together and rejoice.
Come what may, my steps shall never waver.
Now we're getting into the bad. First bad game, Mr. Gimmick, or is it just called Gimmick? Gimmick. I thought it was Mr. Gimmick. Gimmick Special Edition. This is a limited run game again, but this is an old Sunsoft game. Sunsoft is porting everything over to the Nintendo Switch. Thanks to that new Carbon engine, made a previous video about that. I will link in the description below about my video that discussed the Carbon engine and Limited Run Games' relationship with Sunsoft, because Sunsoft is actually a smart company, unlike Konami. Doesn't like making new games anymore because their casino slot machine business makes them billions of dollars. Well, unlike Konami, Sunsoft likes making money. So here's the thing about Gimmick. I thought I would enjoy this game. I was very excited to have it, very excited to play it. And by the way, it also comes with a manual. See, Sunsoft actually puts effort in. They like making money. Pretty thick manual too. Sunsoft. Not quite as well known as Konami or Capcom, but they're pretty high up there on the list, buddy. They might even be second place during the 16 or 8-bit era. Second place, or third place, sorry. Konami and Capcom are first place. So this is a hardcore platformer. And I even call it a platformer puzzle game because I felt like I was playing a freaking puzzle game. It's not a puzzle game, but you have to think. If you want to beat the game, you have to think, how are you going to pass certain parts of the levels and how are you going to defeat these bosses? Because your attack is very strange. You shoot this star, and depending on how much you charge it, determines how the star moves, but the star shoots at an angle going down and it bounces. And so I felt like I was solving puzzles. Even like the first boss, you'll get what I mean when you fight the first boss and you realize you can't just run in there and throw your star at him. You have to figure out, well, how can I even hit him? My star doesn't go anywhere near him. So you got to figure it out. It's a constant battle of fighting the puzzle aspect and the very difficult controls. The controls are very slippery by design, and that's not necessarily a bad thing because you are supposed to get used to the controls with practice. You get used to it. But I just didn't enjoy it because the game was just too difficult. I'm an old man gamer now. I don't want to put the time and the effort in to get good at this game. And it does have special features. You can rewind. I was using that feature. You basically have to use that feature. But that is the problem with this game. The difficulty. Fun game, great game. A lot of people have fond memories of this game. But now I know why they didn't end up releasing it here in the West. Pretty sure it was Japan only. Maybe it went to Europe. But it's just too friggin' hard. You have to use a Game Genie to beat this. And for that reason, I'm not recommending it. I think it's a bad game. Well, okay, I won't say it's a bad game, but it's not for me. It's not for me. Next up, this actually arrived in the mail today, Ring Fit. But you know what? I threw it in the bad pile because I'm going to return it and I want you guys to give me some advice on this. Tell me if I'm legally insane for doing this. But so I'm really pissed off. I'm pissed off because see this box doesn't close all the way. See the edges? Watch. That's what it's supposed to look like. They open up. Somebody ripped them open. Well, I'm a collector. How the box looks visually is very important to me. And this does something to my brain, and I can't stand looking at it. If I put this on my shelf, I don't want to look at it. How could you stand looking at that? Look at how wide those gaps are. Somebody actually bent it. It's bent. And not only that, and I know somebody ripped it this way. Somebody ripped the edges because look at this. There's a tear on each side. So I got this on Amazon and I'm going to return it. I'm going to tell them it's damaged. But I got this because I've been exercising a lot lately. I've been doing my yoga. I do Diamond Dallas Page yoga. Helps to keep me sane, and it keeps my back in good shape and my neck in good shape so that I can sit down and game for many hours at a time when I need to. So let me know in the comments. Somebody please let me know in the comments if you would also return this. I know a lot of people who watch this channel are collectors. They're not just gamers that don't care what the condition looks like. Fellow collectors, would you return that? Because I'm going to tell them that it's damaged. And hopefully they give me my money back, no questions asked. And then I'm going to go to Walmart and I'm going to purchase one in person. And I'm going to look at the condition of the box before I buy it. Speaking of Amazon, they also gave me my ugliest game I've ever received. So we've gone through the good, we've gone through the bad, and here's the ugly. Nickelodeon Kart Racers number 3 Slime Speedway. Now the camera's not going to pick this up. I got this brand new for 20 bucks. This is the poor man's Mario Kart. I don't recommend this game. Actually, no, I kind of do. Actually, because I like the characters in the game. So the game itself isn't very good, but you have tons of freaking unique characters. 40 characters, I think, are in this, in number 3. I wrote down some of the characters. Here we go. 40 racers. We got Avatar Aang. We got Chucky from Rugrats. We got Danny Phantom. We got Garfield. Korra. Avatar Korra from Legend of Korra. We got Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. We got SpongeBob, Squidward, Stimpy from Ren and Stimpy, Toph from... I friggin' love Avatar, as you can tell. Toph is blind. That's the blind girl. She's driving a go-kart. So I wish they had her on the cover. Dang. What were they thinking when they put her in here? They must have done it as a joke, because it's obviously funny having a blind girl drive a go-kart. So the game got terrible reviews. All you need to know is that the Nintendo Switch version in particular has frame rate issues. It's a big problem. The PlayStation version does not have frame rate issues. This is the poor man's Mario Kart. You can get it brand new for 20 bucks. The only kids that got this game were from really dumb or cheap or poor parents. Because Mario Kart costs a hell of a lot more than 20 bucks. This is Canadian dollars I'm talking here. 20 bucks. Brand new. Except guess what? Amazon screwed me. So, and it's too late for me to return this because I waited too long before I opened it to notice. It came in shrink wrap. That's the first sign that something is wrong. I don't know why it was in shrink wrap. If somebody knows, let me know. I think it was resealed because it has water damage. I don't think the camera can pick that up. It's wavy. It's completely damaged, and it's only the front too. The back is mostly fine. Little bit of damage at the back. Yeah, it's gonna be real tough. See if you can see some of those waves. See? The light, it's showing some of the waves at the top. That's water damage. It's completely ruined. Look at that. It's ugly as hell. I'm a collector. I don't want ugly, busted up, water damaged games. So I'm really pissed off about this, but I can't get my money back. This is the problem with buying games on Amazon. I don't enjoy buying games on Amazon because a lot of times they do show up damaged. And I've had it. I'm going to start returning anything that is not in mint condition. I'm not putting up with this anymore. And this is brand new. I opened it up. It's brand new. Everything's in there.
Good thing I didn't just eat.
Look at this! Rocket!
So we got the good, Radiant Silver, Triangle Strategy. We got the bad, Mr. Gimmick or Gimmick Special Edition, Sunsoft. I wish I could tell you that I liked this game and that I would recommend it, but I'm not recommending it. It's too difficult. I would not bother, even with the rewind feature. Why play a game if you're going to be rewinding every 5 seconds? It's not worth it. I regret buying this. I mean, I'd probably still buy it anyway, to be honest. I mean, that artwork, the art style is incredible. I really like that 8-bit art style, I like the colors. But dang, man, yeah. That's really tough to recommend. Yeah, I wouldn't buy it. I changed my mind. I just wouldn't do it. If I could rewind time, I would have skipped that one. Next, we got Ring Fit. Ugly as hell. It's only bad because the box is all busted. The box is bad. And then we got the Real Ugly. The game ain't that great, and it's ugly to look at. And don't forget, this video is unofficially sponsored by Tea Tree Soap from Thursday Plantation. Tea Tree Soap. Tea Tree Cleansing Bar. Unofficially sponsored. And what do I use this soap for, and why do I recommend this soap? I use it for my balls. I wash my balls with the Tea Tree Soap. It's got antibacterial properties. It's a very healthy, all natural, good soap. Pretty sure it's all natural. The point being, it's for your balls. I will have a link in the description below if you're interested. Have a look and help support the channel. While you're at it, please consider subscribing to the channel. I collect a lot of retro games here. I'm trying to collect over 9,000 games, and that does include the Nintendo Switch. I love the Nintendo Switch. I love the NES, Super Nintendo, Sega Genesis, N64, GameCube, Nintendo Wii, PS2, PS3, Xbox, OG Xbox, Xbox 360, and the Wii U. I do everything. I do it all. I collect it all. Oh yeah, and I've got don't forget PlayStation 1 and the Sega Dreamcast. One of the most underrated consoles of all time.